All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Guys, thank you so much for showing up today. Really appreciate you guys being here. My name's Josue Llanas. A little bit about me. I am originally from South Texas. I'm originally from McAllen, Texas. I was born and raised down there. I got my electrical engineering degree from the University of Texas. Now it's called Rio Grande Valley. At the time, it was called UTPA, University of Texas Pan American. And I went and I started doing engineering, started doing oil and gas. I thought that was the thing that you had to do. And before long, I was out there. I was working 80 hours a week, 120 hours a week. I remember logging in that many hours and I was getting paid salary at the time. And I knew there had to be a better way, right? Because I was making good money, six figures as a 22, 23-year-old. But didn't have a life. There wasn't any freedom. There wasn't any excitement. I'm working out in the middle of nowhere, not by choice, but because I had to. And I felt trapped. I felt in a cage. I felt like I was like a modern day tied to the conformities of society. And I knew there had to be something outside of it. I saw people around me. I saw people thriving. And I knew that there had to be a better way. So I started looking, I started reading. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I read Think and Grow Rich. I read so many books that really taught me a lot about success, a lot about growth, a lot about getting to experience a different kind of life. So I consumed everything in 2018. I started wholesaling. I started just marketing for distressed off-market sellers, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I got really lucky, and I got my first deal. And I got my first deal. I made $20,000. My second deal, I made $30,000. So here I am now. I probably was 27 at the time. And I thought I was on top of the world. I just made $50,000 in like 2 or 3 months. So here I am. I'm thinking everything's great. I go all in onto this business. I make $150,000 in my first year. My second year, I'm like throwing it all back into marketing, trying to see what sticks. And then I drive my business into the ground. I don't take care to learn the skills that are required before you scale to the next level. And anytime you're looking to get ahead in life, before you start just taking just crazy action with like no regard for risk, it's more importantly to understand, to learn the skills that are necessary that will help you get to that next level. So that's what I'm here to teach you guys today. Today, I'm going to be talking about culture index. I'm going to be talking about systems, and I'm going to be talking about processes. I feel like this is something that I haven't touched on yet. And I think it'll be extremely beneficial for anyone that's listening to even know that these things exist. Because when I first started, I had no idea any of this was even out there, right? And a lot of the times what happens in business is you don't know what you don't know. So you may be doing something really great and it may be working for you, but what if there's a better way to do that, right? What if there's a faster way, a more efficient way, a cheaper way, right? Or maybe in some cases, all three. So if I can provide any sort of insight to how to build a business, this is what this PowerPoint today is about what this webinar is about today. So if at any point, by the way, you guys have any questions, I have the chat open. I'm not checking the Q&A right now, so I'm just checking the chat. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop into the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you guys have. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. By the way, this webinar will only be about an hour, so we're going to be ending right at 6 p.m. So just a heads up, if you have any questions, drop them in before 6 because I have a hard stop at 6. So, all right, let's get started. Culture index, training, systems, and processes. What in the hell is all of this, right? And you know what, guys? I'm gonna switch this thing right here, and I'm just gonna drop it like this instead. And let me make that bigger. There you go. have my tools here. Bam. It's not working out. Sorry, guys. Okay. All right. So Culture Index is a tool that allows us to see how people are hardwired. So what does that mean? If you guys are maybe even remotely interested in this, this is really about a tool that knows how you operate when you're at rest, maybe when you're not working, when you're just hanging out by yourself, maybe at home or whatever. This is how you like to operate um, a lot of different perspectives. It has about 8 different things that it tracks, and maybe some of you guys have taken like the DISC test. The DISC test is like a high D is dominant, I is influential, so like social butterflies, S is stable, and C is cautious. So I don't know if you guys have taken that. I teach that to my team to help them understand how to negotiate with each individual. Typically, we're hardwired to be one of these 4 that I'm mentioning right now, the DISC. But the DISC, the Culture Index is a lot more in depth. It has not only those 4, but it also has 2 more things: a logic and an empathy one. And one of them really is to see how creative someone is. So that could also be pretty helpful whenever we're looking at hiring some employees. So it showcases people's strengths and weaknesses. It does not measure work ethic, experience, and personality. So it just measures how you're hardwired with specific traits. And I'm going to go over the traits right now in a second. That's how many energy units. Energy units is basically how much energy someone has to operate outside of how they're originally hardwired. And so what I mean by that is, like, let's say you're like really outgoing and you're hardwired that way. You can be outgoing all day long with no problem. But if you're actually an introvert and you have to be outgoing, that's where the energy units come in, because you're not hardwired to be outgoing, but you have to force yourself to be outgoing. Then in that scenario, you're going to be feeling drained after an entire day of doing that. So that's what I mean by the energy units. I hope that's clear. And to be honest, we hire primarily with Culture Index. So whenever we're going to have an interview with someone, we have the Culture Index open and we look at how they're hardwired. Then we ask them specific questions about the role that they're going to be doing. We ask them questions about their work ethic. We ask questions relating to conflict. We want to know how someone operates under conflict, and then how someone operates under pressure. So those are the different kind of questions that we ask to be able to see if someone is the right fit, number one, for the company. Because if you don't fit in with the culture that we have, right, then you're going to bring all of the energy down of the entire company. So it's important before we even start with anything to make sure that they're the right fit culturally, number one, and then number 2, with their work ethic, with their experience, and then of course with the Culture Index. So let's go ahead and keep going. All right, so what's the cost of turnover? This is right out of the book that we paid a good amount of money for Culture Index, and they did a study on what the cost of turnover is. It can take 3 months to figure out if an employee is not working out for a row, and 3 months to push that employee out. So roughly on average, and I'm talking about on average with like corporate, with small businesses and entrepreneurs, are maybe different, but as a whole, a good rule of thumb is about 6 months. So 6 months of wasted time by hiring the wrong person. The cost of turnover is recruitment costs, training costs, administrative costs, and opportunity costs, right? Because if you hire someone, maybe you could have hired an actual badass that is going to be out there crushing it. So you need to be careful with hiring the wrong person. It can cost you a lot more money over time. So recruitment costs, we have, let me see here. This thing's in my way. You guys probably can't see this, but Zoom has a little dialogue and it's right in the way of what I'm trying to look at. Okay. Recruitment costs, $1,000, prelim interviews, 1,000, formal interviews, 2,000, background checks, tech, placement agency, blah, 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 blah. Over here at the very bottom, the main thing that I want you guys to understand is 757,000. The grand total, the potential cost is 2.2 million, with opportunity costs, with everything kind of rolled into that. There's the main thing for you to understand from this is it costs a lot of money for you to hire the wrong person. Okay, whether these costs apply to you or not, a lot of them don't to me, but I still know that if I hire the wrong person, it costs me a lot of money not going in and waiting for the right individual that's going to make an actual difference to my company. So that's the main gist of this page. So this is a breakdown now of Culture Index. So the 4 things that I was talking about earlier with the disc, it's high DISC. This is kind of very similar to that. So the A is autonomy. Autonomy means how autonomous someone is. And we have a red line in the Culture Index profile. And the red line gives us the median of the entire population. So across the board, with all of the population that they went and they surveyed, this is the middle right here. Okay. If someone is to the right of the red line, I'm going to be talking about that. If you're to the right, then that's higher autonomy. If you're to the right, then it's higher. If it's to the left, then it's lower. So if it's to the right, someone is going to be independent, they're going to be action-based, and they're going to be a risk taker. If it's to the left, it's going to be a team player, unselfish, and risk adverse. How far away their little bubble lies between from where they're at to the red line is standard deviations. The more standard deviations it gets away from the red line, the more apparent that specific bubble is going to be. In this case, is autonomy. So if it's extremely all the way to the left, then they're very unselfish, they're very risk adverse, and they're an extreme team player. On the flip side to that, if it's very far to the right, then that person is independent, they're action-based, and they are risk takers. So, something to keep in mind here. It just depends on what you're hiring for. You want to make sure that they fit that right characteristics that you need. Sometimes I need team players. Sometimes I need people that are independent, right? A team player is going to be a really good manager, someone that I need help with running data or maybe doing administrative tasks. And then I'm going to want a person that has a higher autonomy for a sales position, right? Someone that's independent, someone that's action-based, someone that's willing to take a risk. That's an excellent salesperson for me, right? So it just depends on what you're needing for the role. By the way, none of this is good or bad, whether it's to the right or to the left or higher or lower. It's not bad. It's just what you need for that role. We're all different. We all have strengths and weaknesses. So we just need to know how to operate and how to work with each other, right? Because I can't do the details. I'm big picture, but I have people on my team that I wouldn't be able to run my business without them, because they're very detail oriented, and they can make sure that they follow, they cross all the T's, they dot all the I's, and we get all the deals done. Okay, so next is B, social ability. If you're on the lower side, you're analytical, you're factual, you're introspective, someone that likes to work alone. A higher social ability is someone that gets their energy from being around people, socially oriented. They're persuasive, they're empathetic, they're recognition based. So this is a good point right here too. Part of understanding Culture Index is how to manage people. So if someone has a lower B, I know that I shouldn't go and disturb that person during the day, because I'm going to mess up how they're working and their work style during that day. So now, instead of me going and maybe just talking to them, because I'm a little bit on the higher side, I like to talk to people, I like to connect, I like to talk through my thoughts sometimes. But that would be very negative for that person, because now I'm going to take them away from the work that they were doing, and it's going to take them time to get back into what they were doing before I got there. So I should probably leave someone like that alone. A higher social ability is recognition based. So these are the kind of people that, we stand up and we put them in front and we say, hey, thanks a lot to these people for what they did. They did an amazing job, blah, blah, blah. That's someone that has a higher social ability. The C is pace. If they have a lower pace, they're impatient. If they're a higher pace, they're actually very patient. So natural sense of urgency, short attention span, multitasker. The higher pace is patient, methodical, single focus, and dislikes pressure. So if it's a C to the left, then they have a natural sense of urgency. So these are the kind of people that can spin multiple plates at the same time. Pace is all about this specific trait right here. It's about understanding how someone operates during the workday. So this means that they can have 5, 6 things that they're working on at the same time, and every plate is spinning, and they'll go and they'll spin this plate, and they'll go and they'll work on another plate, and they'll spin it. They'll go and they'll work on another one, and they'll spin it, and the whole time they have like all these plates, kind of spinning all over at the same time. And that's how they work, right? So hopefully that gives you a mental image of what it's like to see these people kind of working. Someone with a higher pace is going to be very patient, methodical. They're going to want to spin this plate, and they're going to spin it until they get it to spin and until they finish the entire task that needs to be done. They're not going to go on and move to the next thing until they're absolutely done with this plate. So that's single focus. That's the kind of work environment that they're going to have. Something to understand too with when working with these people is you don't want to give them a bunch of different tasks. You want to give them one task at a time so they can go work on it, get it done, and then move on to the next. And then the D is conformity. Low conformity dislikes details, dislikes rules, free spirit, great at delegating. So conformity, right? It's all about, think about the D as the brake and the A as the gas. So some people may be all gas, no brakes, and then other people may be no gas, all brakes, right? So some people may be all about following the rules, and hey, we got to follow the rules, we got to do the procedure, we got to do this. And those people are excellent at implementing procedures for your business. Some of the people that create rules and that create procedures are in my business, and I clash onto them all the time because I'm the opposite. I don't like rules. So I'm a free spirit, but I understand to be able to run a business, you need to have structure, and to have structure, you need people that can do these things for you. So they create the rules, they create the procedures, and I go and I follow them because that's going to spill over to the rest of the company and to the rest of the employees, and we're going to be all following the same rules, doing the same things so that we can get more deals together as a company. So covered a lot. If you guys have questions, please feel free to stop me because I know I'm going pretty fast. All right. Next thing is energy units. I spoke about this earlier. Basically, it's the ability to modify the behavior. The higher the energy units, the more battery they have to modify their behavior outside of how they're normally hardwired. Logic, 0 to 2. This is someone that wears their heart on their sleeves. If they ever have any sort of issues, these people may need a day or two off. 3 to 7, they can control their behavior to conceal their emotional reactions. And then 8 to 10, this person can hate you and you would have absolutely no idea. So it's good to know the people that are on the 8 to 10, because I don't know if they're pissed off at me or not. So I need to go and talk to them, have conversations, and just make sure that they're not hating me at any point in time. Ingenuity is 0 to 6. Linear thinking. These are the people that are thinking like an engineer, right? This is step 1, linear thinking. They're going in one direction. And then 7 to 10 is multi-dimensional thinking. Very creative souls, people like Walt Disney. If you're a 10, you're like Walt Disney. I've never encountered a 10 yet, so I'm excited for the day that I do. There'll be another Walt Disney. So one thing that I want to note here is the CEO and COO roles. We have a sister company. It's Vancom. We offer cold calling services for a ton of investors out there. If anyone that's watching this needs cold callers, Karis is the CEO. She can help you out with getting you a cold caller. We have lead managers for people. So we do lead management for other investors as well. So not only are we getting them leads, then we're helping them nurture the relationship. We have closers that can actually close a deal. We like working with investors so that they close a deal, they do the negotiation, they get under contract. We also have transaction coordination services there where we help to conversate between title, buyer, title, seller, getting the intake forms, a whole lot of things, right? Even an answering service for property managers that We can actually take calls, inbound leads, to be able to get those leads instead of having those leads being lost to a voicemail. Most of the time, people don't leave a voicemail. So it's important to get those calls when they come in. But anyway, Karis is the CEO. Anna is the COO. She's the integrator. So one thing that I want you guys to note here is that, and here I'm gonna write this. So if you see here, the A is on the right side because we do need someone that can make decisions, and that's Sophia. We need someone that can actually be an individual, be able to take action, be able to be a little bit of risk taker, because if we ask her to do something, she needs to be able to go out and implement it. So that's what we need there. Karis is very sociable. Sophia is more empathetic, so she wants to work alone. Karis likes to do one thing at a time. Sophia can do a lot of different things at the same time. And then the big one is this one right here, the conformity. This is the break. Karis is very much a free soul, free spirit. So she's not going to have a lot of, I would say, detail oriented, but also conformity. Doesn't like to follow the rules, doesn't like procedures, doesn't like anything. So we need someone on the opposite side of the red line, like I mentioned earlier. We need someone on the opposite side to be able to understand how she operates and then be able to pump the brakes on Karis every once in a while and say, hey, hold on just a second. I know you're wanting to go and doing this, but have you thought about these risks? Have you thought about the issues that could come up? Have you thought about the processes that we had in place? We need to consider all these things before we move forward. And then Karis goes, yeah, you're right. That's an excellent point. I hadn't even thought about that, because the hardwiring is just different, right? So that's what we have individuals in place to be able to help us get to where we need to go, and show us a different school of thought. The next thing is logic. Logic is on Sophia's 1. That means she wears her heart on her sleeve. Karis is a 9, meaning that you wouldn't be able to know if this girl is pissed off at you or not. So there's a lot of communication that needs to happen with Karis. Versus Sophia, you'll be able to see it on her face from a mile away that there's something troubling her. So it's a lot easier to be able to talk about feelings and emotions with Sophia than maybe it is with Karis. Then the I, Karis is very much a single focus. Sophia is more multidimensional. So she's going to be able to think about different things at the same time and then be able to come up with different problems, number one, but then also different solutions. It's important to come up with problems before they come up, because you can solve them and you can be ready for them before the issue arises, right? Next, we have Josue Llanas and Ananda. So again, same thing. We are on the opposite side on the autonomy. So I'm about 5 standard deviations. He's about 4 from the red line. So minus on the right side. So I'm very, very risk. I like taking risk. I like going out there and seeing what sticks. Versus Ananda, she's very cautious. She's a team player, and she's going to make sure that we're not going to go 100 miles per hour and then fall on our face and break a bone or something. Whereas I'm okay with breaking a bone in the process of figuring something else out. So that's kind of the multi-dimensional thing that I was talking about earlier. And then this is also about working together as a team. This is called Rocket Fuel. This is straight from the book Traction. This is the kind of integrator that you need for a visionary. So the next is the B. I'm right on the line when it comes to my sociability. I would rather work alone as long as I can be talking to people on the phone. But my space needs to be clear. I need to be here by myself. I need to focus. I want to be able to talk to people, negotiate over the phone without anyone here in my circle bothering me or maybe getting me away from the things that I need to do. Ananda loves to be around people. She thrives on relationships. So this is, again, everything's opposite. The C, again, I'm to the left, she's to the right. The D, I'm to the left, she's to the right. So with me, I believe this means that I can have a pace. So I'd like to go and spin 5 different plates at the same time. Ananda likes to spin 1 plate at a time. I am a nonconformist. I don't care about rules or processes or systems. And Ananda very much loves systems, loves processes, loves documenting stuff. And so I had to sit down, explain the processes, do everything, get it all done with her so that we can create a structure for the business. On the L, I don't wear my heart on my sleeves at all. And then Ananda definitely does. So if she's ever upset or something, I need to make sure that I know that so I can go and talk to her, talk about the emotions, and let's keep on working together. And then finally, on the I, more of an engineer, and Anna's more of Walt Disney. So not quite all the way to 10, but very multi-dimensional thinking still. Okay. I think this is the last slide for Culture Index. I'm going to give you guys a quick minute to ask any questions. Do you guys have any questions at all right now? I know that I just went in a lot into Culture Index, how to basically understand how someone's hardwired, their work ethic, and then how to make a decision on hiring the right person for the right seat. If you guys have any questions right now, would be a good time to be able to talk about that. And I think what would have been really cool is to include a slide in here also of the organizational structure. Let me open that up. I wanna do that for you guys. I'll make sure let me end the show. No questions yet about Culture Index? I think I know where it's at. So this is an organizational structure of the business. This is essentially the way that it works. Whenever you're starting off a company, you want to have the bird's eye view. You want to know, where is everyone going to be operating? What are you going to be? What are the things that my business needs? And then what are the things that I'm good at that I can go and do, right? And then what are the things that I absolutely need to delegate immediately, right? Because I'm a salesperson. I need to be talking to people, and I cannot be working with data, doing admin tasks, taking care of details, because I'm going to drop the ball on something eventually. If I have 5 different things that require my focus and my detail-oriented skills, one of those 5 things is going to be wrong guaranteed. So I'm not supposed to be doing those things, and those are the things that I started delegating at the very beginning. So this is the way, and this is a little bit outdated. I believe this is from a year, maybe 2 years ago. But this is my structure for my business. So we have sales and marketing on the left side. Sales and marketing is all about first, okay, doing marketing, understanding lists, understanding KPIs. So analyzing markets, managing REI Sift, that's our data provider. That's our data aggregator. We store all of our data in there, and then we go and we list stack so that we can find out the low hanging fruit. Who are the people that are on multiple lists? They maybe have a probate, they have tax delinquency, the house is vacant, and it was on an inspection list. So this person's going to be very motivated. Let's go and knock on that person's door, right? That's REI Sift. Pulling data, cleaning data, skip tracing, dollar setup, blah, blah. Each one of these is color coded so that it goes to the right person that is in charge of it. Every department has someone that is responsible for that department. For example, Sophia was responsible for these 3, this one, and this one. We restructured it around now. Someone else is responsible for different things. Dispositions, one person is responsible for the entire dispositions department. One person is going to be responsible for acquisitions. One person is going to be responsible for property management. One person is going to be responsible for the rehabs, for the operations, for the finance. These are all basically the most important things about the business, right? For any business out there, it doesn't matter if it's real estate, oil, whatever it is. Every business has 3 different departments. It has sales, which is basically going out there, finding new business, sales and marketing, operations, actually doing or selling the product that you have, and then finance, being able to manage your money so that you can appropriate that money or those funds to the right places so you can continue to scale. So every company, doesn't matter what company it is, has those 3 departments. Mine has these specific departments like acquisitions, dispo, and transaction coordinating, because those are specific to wholesaling. Those are specific to running a business that finds off-market deals. Okay, so let's get back to it. I don't see any questions here, so I'm going to continue. All righty. And by the way, anyone that's watching this, I do have a mastermind that I'm starting, that I started already. I have a couple of students already in there. Every other Friday, we go and we sit down, we talk about our goals. They talk about the goals that they have. At any point in time in business, there's someone that has already done what you're trying to do, right? So it's a matter of shortcutting that process so you can get to where they're at faster, right? I have 5 years of experience. I've closed hundreds of deals. And at this point, I know a lot about real estate, right? I know the skills that were required at the beginning for you to be able to get the deals, find the deals, get them under contract, selling them, be able to make money. And then the skills that are required to actually build a business. Those skills are different from the skills that you needed to close deals. So at every point of this of the stage that you're in, I can help you get from where you're at to being able to build a business that closes multiple deals every single month consistently. And I can help you get there faster. I don't know of anyone else that's doing it as cheap as I am. It's only $100 a month. A lot of people out there are doing it for tens of thousands of dollars. I want to do it because I want to build a community first, right? I want to build a mastermind, and I want to do it with people that are serious. A lot of the times, the best way to know if someone is serious is to put your money where your mouth is, right? Invest in yourself. $100 is not going to do anything to me, but it's going to do everything for you. And that's what I'm trying to make sure that I'm going to turn the brightness down here. That's what I want to make sure that I portray this across, so that I find the right people that can align with the vision of working together. Real estate is a team sport, so making contact, working together, finding deals, making money together. And I promise you, I mean, one deal will more than repay any sort of amount of money that it takes for you to invest in your education. So if you guys are interested, you guys are going to get some emails after the webinar about the mastermind. And if you guys are interested, I'd love to see you guys there. The next meeting is this Friday, so if you guys sign up before Friday, I believe there's some bonuses in the emails whenever you're gonna get them. I'm gonna throw in like one of my free scripts that I close a lot of deals with. I'm gonna give you my acquisitions contract, and I'm gonna give you a TC checklist. So look out for that. Look out for the emails, and hope to see you guys there. All right, I'm gonna be talking about systems and processes. How do I actually mobilize? I built a business alongside Karis, and that was doing cold calling. We built a business where we had 40 employees. I think we're like at 35 right now. We fired a couple of people, but we figured out how to mobilize 40 people on a daily basis. And in order to do that, you have to learn different skills. This is one of the skills right here. So creating systems and processes is extremely, extremely important. The foundation is set by Tim Francis. You can find out who he is. You can go to Profit Factory and read all about it. There's 3 differentiators: reference, systems, and templates. The reference are basically like passwords. You want to have like all the passwords in one place, so that whenever instead of your team coming and asking you, hey, what's a password for PropStream? Hey man, go check reference number 101. The password's in there. Okay, great. Sorry to bother you, sir. Now they go and do their own thing. So Jen was asking, I'm sorry, I just saw this. Is that like a mentorship program? It is like a mentorship program, but it's also a mastermind. So you're not going to be doing it alone. There's going to be other people in there that are going to be at the same level or at different levels than maybe wherever you're at right now, Jen. So you're going to be able to talk to your peers and work together to learn the business together, and to evidently get your first deal, right? And then be able to build a business. So it's not only a mentorship, but it's also a mastermind. And I'm also developing a course, and I'm going to throw that course in, everything for free for the same amount, $100 a month. And you can cancel anytime, money back guarantee. If you don't like how I speak or you don't like anything, I'll give you your money back. I don't care. You know, we probably weren't meant for each other. So it's not going to hurt my feelings, but if I can serve you, if I can help you, I'd be more than happy to do so. Okay, next, system. So systems are a step-by-step way of conducting a certain fraction of business. Imagine systems being that's the actual process, right? The whole thing as a whole is a system. So the system could be acquisitions, but then the step-by-step process of how do you begin a phone call? How do you begin the negotiation? That's the step-by-step that you want to have documented inside of these folders. Okay. And then templates is documents you use in your business on a daily basis or whatever. If you need, hey, I need to find out where the purchase agreement is, you go and you pull it from the template. Hey, I need to find out the dispo, you go and you pull it from the template. Everything, every document that we may need to fill out is going to be in the templates folder. All right, let's move on. All right, so this is kind of what it looks like. We have one master list of procedures. It's called R001. So imagine R001 as being like the catalog for my business. It's a long sheet. It has a bunch of documents in there and it has step-by-step, absolutely everything about my business. This is the main goal with creating systems and processes, is getting to the point where you could eventually franchise your business. Let's say I want to do like a mentorship to someone, but they may have money. Someone may have money and they're ready to start their own business. I'm going to be able to franchise my business because of all of these systems and processes. They can pay me a franchise fee, right? Now I'm going to be their franchisee. They can go and basically I'm selling them my business in a box because I'm putting the work in, I'm putting in the effort to creating the step-by-step guides of everything about my business so that I can copy paste everything that I've developed, everything that I've put in motion over the course of 5 years right now. In the future, it's going to be obviously more, but put it on a box and be able to franchise it to other people so that they can basically pay me for a business in a box. You know, and there's different franchise fees that I've heard out there. You know, there's a 50 grand, 100 grand, 250,000. Every franchise is different. So whenever I'm ready to do so, I'll definitely point it out to everyone, to the internet. So maybe we can do some franchisees in the future. But that's the goal, right? Is every business should have the systems and processes so you can franchise it. Over here on the right side, we have let me get my little laser pointer out. So we have the acquisitions curriculum. So it's always done like this. Here's another thing. I talked earlier about me not being detail oriented. I give my people the vision. They go and they implement the vision. Sophia here, she is in Argentina, and we gave her the vision. We taught her everything. She and another one of my, Ananda, both worked on this together, and they created this based on the vision that we gave them. So we go out, we implement the knowledge, we get all of the feedback, we come back, we tell them this is how it should be. They go, they put it together in this really nice, beautiful format, and now we're ready to franchise it out. Now I have a document that has everything step by step. I can go and hire someone brand new right off the street. As long as they're hardwired like a salesman, I can give them this. They can go and read it, and before long, they're going to be closing deals. So what's in it? Core values. What is it like being a team member? What is acquisitions? What does your position mean and look like? Why is your role important to us? How do you fit in the puzzle? What is wholesaling? Overview of each role inside of Texas Homes area and meet the team. Then the training, sales psychology, and then there's different trainings every single day. There's going to be a different training. This is the onboarding process. This is the curriculum to be able to take someone off the streets and make them into a sales expert within 2 weeks or less. So that's why all of this is very important. References, this is what the references look like. Different departments of the business. Templates, marketing, fix and flips, Over here, we have the leadership, master list of procedures, core values, identity statements, the pay for the team, rules for commissions, daily planner, employee handbook, business growth resources. Anything you can think of should be on one single location so you can go in, look it up, and be able to share the data with your team. All of this has to do with training, guys. You know, if you don't train your people, you know, you might as well start dying and start, you know, building your or tearing your business apart. It doesn't matter how well someone knows. You have to put in the reps in, right? Your muscles are the same way. The day that you stop using your muscles is the day that they start dying, atrophying, right? Your brain, your skills are exactly the same. So we train with them on a weekly basis, sometimes on 2-3 times a week. If we see that someone's not performing like they should, hey, let's go listen to your phone calls. Let's listen to how you pitch the deal. Let's listen to how you negotiate it. Let's listen to how you close the deal. What was the thing that was missing in your conversation that prevented you from having a contract with the seller's signature on it right now? What went wrong during the call? So again, none of this doesn't work if you don't work, right? None of this doesn't work unless you put in the reps in with your team, first by yourself so that you can be proficient, and then number two, with your team so that they, number one, can be proficient, they can be constant, right? And they can keep on closing deals over a long period of time, because at any point in time, anyone can burn out. And if you're not there to support them, to motivate them, they will burn out. So something to keep in mind. In all right, next one. All right. And then this is another thing just to show this is how we train people. When we train them, then we want to test their knowledge, right? If you've ever had a corporate job, they sat you down in front of your little computer, and then you had to go and read or like see a bunch of videos, and then at the end of the videos, they would test you. They would see if you knew the information that they were teaching you on. So why is my company going to be any different than a major corporation? I've worked for Home Depot. I remember sitting down in the employee section and taking all these tests. I worked for oil and gas companies. They took me out to like a location out in Baytown, and I had to go and do a bunch of different classes about safety and hazards and blah, 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 right? So if I'm working for these major corporations, the system works, right? You have to quiz people on their knowledge. So why is my company going to be any different? I'm going to quiz my people and my employees on the knowledge that they have. Number one, so that I know that they're proficient, but number two, to give them confidence in them knowing that they know their shit. They know the information so well that they can go and quiz it and be able to have a good answer and be able to have a passing grade. So it's going to give them a lot of confidence also. And this is what it looks like: basics of dispositions, write down the full disposition process, mention your role and the responsibilities you have as a dispo agent, write down the step-by-step process for submitting a deal. Some of these are open-ended questions. Other ones are actual, you have to like actually select something. So it just depends on what it looks like there. I think, let's see, guys, and I think that's pretty much it. That is the end of the go ahead and stop sharing here. So that is the end of the presentation. Essentially, at the end, just in conclusion, what I want to mention for everyone is that you can create the systems, you can have the right people in place, but it's all about the repetitions that you have. So it's important to do the work, do it every day. I love this quote, and I have it on my board. It says, success is never owned, it's rented, and rent is due every day. So if you don't go out there and keep on doing the work that is necessary, that got you to where you're at, then that's the day that you start dying. That's the day that your business starts going down. The opposition wants you to fail, and it's your responsibility to go out there and crush it and succeed. So, guys, the last 10 minutes, I save it just for questions. If there's no questions, then I can end this thing early. We can all go home. I can go to the gym, work out, do what I have to do. But I want to be here of service. So I went through a lot of things. This would be a really great time for you to guys ask any questions. and we can talk about it right now. Does anyone have any questions? What'd you guys think about the webinar? Was this good? Did you guys enjoy it? Oh, Jen, totally new to real estate, want to learn. Yeah, Jen, I highly suggest my mastermind. I don't know anyone else that's doing it cheaper than this, honestly. And if you need to see like HUDs, like closing statements, my bank account, whatever you need, send me a DM. I'll FaceTime you. I'll show you anything you may need to show, so that you can see what I'm doing. A lot of times it's very difficult to see if something is real, especially if maybe you're just like tuning on here the first time. But I have a lot of resources and a lot of proof that I could show you if there's anything that you need to know that all of this is real. I mean, if my 40 employees doesn't show it, I don't know what will. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a reminder, I have my mastermind is going to be this Friday. If you guys join, okay, I'm gonna tell you guys again where you're gonna get. If you guys join by Friday, I'm gonna give you guys the transaction checklist that just got reworked on again. So it goes on very detailed every step that you need for you to close a deal. Getting things like getting surveys, things like getting a seller intake form, things that if you didn't have this spreadsheet, you would be completely clueless and you would be at the mercy of the title company. So you never want to be in a situation where your success lies in the hands of someone else, right? Your success should be in your hands. And so I can give you this entirely for free if you join the mastermind by Friday. It has the entire step-by-step guideline on how to do different things, from talking to the buyer, talking to the seller, how to pitch different things, the communications that you have, the things that you need to tell the seller, the things you need to tell the buyer. You don't know what you don't know, right? So you're going to get that checklist. I'm going to give you my purchase agreement. And I forgot the last thing that I said, but I'm sure it's in the recording, or just remind me what it was. I also have my assistant in the backstage that can tell me what I said earlier. But cool. Well, if you guys don't have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and end it now. Thank you everyone again for joining the webinar. I really appreciate every single one of you guys being here today. Again, I would love to serve you guys. We have this coaching, and I want to show you guys something. I don't take this lightly at all. I want to make sure that every individual in my mastermind is successful. So I have like a coaching call notes, and I keep notes on everything. This is my bullet journal. I keep track of the things that I have to do personally as the leader of my company, but I also want to make sure that I keep track of the things that other people tell me, the goals of other individuals, so I can make sure that I hold them accountable. I'm going to hold you accountable for your goals. Not only that, but I'm going to teach you exactly the next step that you should be taking right now so you can get to your goal faster. What happens is when you're starting off, you get shiny object syndrome, and you have like all these different ideas, and you're like, oh, maybe I should do cold calling, maybe I should do texting, maybe I go knock on doors, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then you don't do anything. Analysis paralysis. So at the beginning, I think what's the most powerful thing that a coach can do for you is provide you that next step that you need to take so that you can be successful, right? Because it's a step-by-step guide. You can't go from step 0 to step 10. That's not how success and how growth happens, right? You need to learn skills that build on top of each other. So I'm going to teach you that next skill that you have to get. Then once you understand that skill, okay, this is the next skill that you have to get, right? And it working on top of itself, getting better, improving, growing every day, week by week. That's what my mastermind's about. So if that resonates with you, I would love to have you guys in there. But if not, no big deal. I'm still here to share some value. But okay, Well, thank you so much, guys. I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar now. I hope all of you guys have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. And I'll see you guys here next Wednesday. Later, guys.